everyone. Good to see you. Nice to see a couple of Christmas jumpers as well. Thanks for joining us, Matchday -1, ahead of tomorrow's game against Scotland at Hampden Park. Gail, we'll begin with you, if that's okay.
Sarina, can we just check in and see if everyone's fit and available, first of all?
Yeah, everyone's fit and available. Well, we still have one training session to go, but looks good.
And you said on Friday that you hadn't really had a chance to speak to Mary. Have you sat her down and told her how fabulous she is and how there's absolutely no need for that and how she absolutely has to be on it for such a big game tomorrow night?
Yeah, well, I think everyone did. She's all right, you know, and as I said Friday, sometimes people make mistakes. And she has been so consistent, and she's done such a great job. So this is not who she is. It's just a mistake.
Do you remember a situation, have you had one, where you've had to go into a game and know that you've got to win by 4, possibly more games from the off?
No, I don't think I've ever played a game like that. But we'll approach it like we start a game. Every game we want to win. So that's how we start. And we take it from there. And we know what we have to do. But the Netherlands and Belgium also know what they have to do. So it's still open. And we're just going to give our best to get the best performance we can get. And hopefully that brings us something special.
There must be a slight mind shift in the players. Because you sort of have to go out all attack, almost like play the second half. How you play the second half, you kind of need to do that from the off, don't you?
Well, I think how we started the game Friday, the first 10 minutes, we were really on it. So everyone said that was really bad. But I think the 10 minutes, the first time they came on our side, they scored that goal. And of course, that hit us a little bit. So we start really good. And always, whenever we start a game, we want to try to go and attack. And of course, a game is not only about attacking, but we want to score goals and we don't want to concede any. But that's part of the game too. You have to deal with an opponent too who wants to play in a certain way, who has quality. So yes, tomorrow we want to really keep the nil and go for the attack and be aware and be ready if we lose the ball to regain it as quick as possible and try to score a goal again.
For the Scotland players, it is a really tricky scenario. The Netherlands coach said, the integrity of this competition is questionable because they're going out and they know that some of their future at the Olympics are kind of at stake if they win. Is it unfair on them? What do you make of those comments in terms of the integrity?
Well, I understand the conversations about it, but if you have seen our group and if you have seen Scotland and if you know the history Scotland-England, then there's no way that they are going to give away this game. They really want to beat England, and we want to beat them, of course. So, yes, there's such a rivalry that that's absolutely not going to be the case. We saw that when we played in England, and that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, I guess people didn't really necessarily look this far forward, did they, and think that this would be the crunch game. In an ideal world, you probably wouldn't want to sit again, would you? Because there is always that question.
Yeah, but I don't have the solution to. So this is the first time we play the Nations League, and how are you going to solve this situation? Maybe you don't want them in the same group, but then if Scotland would top the other group and we would top a group and we go into the finals, you have the same situation. So this is not an easy solution, and it's just about fair play, about football, and in football everyone wants to win, and we know the rivalry between Scotland and England. So that's just the way it is right now.
And Keira, as a player, I guess you just echoed those thoughts. You can't have all that maths going in your mind if you're a Scotland or an England player.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And I think nobody's questioning the professionalism of this game. I think they've got some top players and so do we. And like Sarina said, we both want to win. I don't think it's a case of they'll be thinking about anything else. I think, we're both going to go out, want to play a good game and, hopefully win the game.
And does your job at all change in the midfield? Just knowing that you have to kind of go all out quite early on tomorrow night. You're just maybe looking to go forward a bit more than maybe, look after the ball, which is kind of what you do so well.
I think obviously in the second half of that game you could see, I think in general we're a bit more on the front foot, but I always see my job as the same. I think I have to get the ball to those players that are going to score us the goals and create opportunities. I think that's kind of how I go about training as well. You know, when we have such talented players in those areas, I think for me it's not to do anything super fancy. It's just to get the simple balls to them and then they can put the ball in the back of the net. So I think for me nothing changes, but we're aware we've got to be on the front foot. But yeah, equally they've got some really good attacking players as well, so we have to be aware of that. But I think we play our best game when we do keep possession and we create opportunities that are measured. It's not just about throwing balls in the box and just like hashing at opportunities. I think it's about still being controlled and picking the best choice. It's not just shooting from anywhere and that sort of thing. It's, still being measured in our approach and creating really good opportunities.
And just finally, for me, we know, don't we, it's if you win and you win well, it's another step closer to the Olympics. And you're lucky to be there in Tokyo. This time feels really different, though, if you can get to go. It's almost like a home Olympics. You'll have crowds there, and that motivation for you to be on a world stage again must be huge.
Yeah, I think obviously the Tokyo Olympics was difficult anyway because it was during COVID, and a lot of the other older players who went to London, said it was a really different experience, so we are aware of that. But I think just to qualify for the Olympics in general is very difficult. I think even if we do get through the group, it's still 2 places along with France, and there's some top European countries still left in it. So I think it's difficult in itself. But I think as a player, you obviously want to be playing in those competitions and playing against the best teams. So yeah, for us, I think this Nations League has been really exciting, and yeah, hopefully we can get to another Olympics. But as I said, it's going to be difficult to do that.
Gail, Joe.
Hi, Sarina. Because of the goal difference situation tomorrow, is there a point in your mind, maybe a minute in the match, where you think if they need more goals, you'll give your players the freedom to, as we call it, throw the kitchen sink at it and just go wild, give them that freedom?
I hope they go out from the first minute. But Keira just addressed it. You don't want to be erratic. We want to be controlled, but we really want to play our best game and create chances to get a lot of players up front. But do the right things, make the right choices, and stay calm at all moments and score as a team. And again, then don't concede any. So be aware of that one too. And yes, of course, we always think in scenarios. What if we tried things for a long time or long period of time in the game and it doesn't work? Then you have to try and do some other things. But let's start where our qualities are. The play possession game, trying to get behind the defense and create lots of chances and score.
And just away from tomorrow night's game, overnight the government gave their response to Karen Carney's review into women's football domestically. I was wondering if you had a chance to read through what the government has said and what your thoughts were on it.
I haven't I have heard about it, but I didn't have the opportunity yet to read through it. It's just good now. It came out. Everyone's talking about it. We're really moving into the right direction in all the parts of the game. And I think that's very, very good, and we have to keep going. And you see in all stages lots of development going on. So it's also talked about the NUCO, things like that, and access for girls in schools to football. So that's all really good, and we have to just keep moving forward.
Keira, the full-time whistle on Friday, I think a lot of us thought there'd be big celebrations because it was such a sensational comeback. But the disappointment on the players' faces, I think, actually threw some of us started redoing our maths because you looked so down. What was going through your mind?
I think I had to redo my maths as well. I think I was a bit confused at the final whistle. But yeah, I think we was probably just disappointed in the manner in which we conceded. I think, as Sarina said, I think everyone's saying the first half was a disaster almost, but I think if you look at the first 10, 15 minutes, we was really on top. I think it was just the manner in which we conceded the goals that we was disappointed in, and obviously we was aware that for it to be in our hands, we had to have a better goal difference. So I think that was probably the disappointment, but yeah, ultimately the Netherlands are a top team, so I think to come from 2-0 behind to win 3-2 shows the mentality of this team, and it's something that we're going to be looking to take into this next game as well.
Seeing Mary even make a mistake, but being that upset is something that is very rare. I don't think we've seen it before. How have the players come around us since Friday?
Yeah, I think even straight after the game, Mary saved us in so many situations. Even myself in the World Cup final, I gave away a penalty and she saved it. So I think for me, she's always been there in the big moments for us. So she really doesn't need to take that on herself. I think it has to go past 10 other players before it gets to her. I think there was numerous mistakes leading up to that one. So she really doesn't need to put it on herself, and she's in good spirits now. I think even at breakfast this morning, she was making jokes about it. So I think she's in in a good space, and she knows what she has to do in the game tomorrow. And Mary's delivered before, so I'm pretty sure she'll deliver again.
Just finally, we, the media, love to talk up games like England, Scotland. We talk about this fierce rivalry, but as players, do you actually feel that rivalry?
Yeah, I think you definitely do. I think it's almost a derby game, really, isn't it? And we're aware of Scotland's attacking threats and what they're going to bring to the game. But yeah, I think hopefully it'll be an exciting one for the fans as well, and kind of just showcase where women's football has come in these two countries. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, Joe. We'll go to Tom.
Hi, Sarina. Hi, Keira. Sarina, could I just go back to the questions that Gail was asking about the situation with Scotland players who might want to go to the Olympics, ruling themselves out if they win the game? I think most people in Britain would agree with you that Scotland are going to give it everything because of the rivalry. But can you understand why Netherlands and Belgian fans might be a bit sceptical if you do win the game by a good margin, that they might question whether or not it was a true and fair match? Can you understand why that would, and maybe, can you see why the Netherlands manager would be disappointed at the moment?
Well, I understand that there's a discussion about it, but I don't understand the rest of it, because we've seen historically, and also the Dutch manager knows about the history, and he also mentioned that in his interview too, that he doesn't expect that Scotland will just give it away, and they won't. And you saw too that the Netherlands got a 4-0 score, so that's a big score too. Should I question those things too? Of course I'm not. So let's just, what we say, this is football, it's competitive. We have professional players here who really wants to show up, England players and Scottish players. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good game where everyone wants to perform at their highest level.
And whatever happens, we've seen in this group that there are some really good teams in this group. So whether you go through, or the Netherlands go through, or Belgium, some good teams are going to miss out on the Olympics. So I'm wondering whether you maybe would like to see more teams in the competition, because it's only 12 women's teams, whereas it's a bigger competition for men's teams. And would you like to see that change? Because it seems a little bit unfair on the women's teams that not as many women's countries get to go through to the Olympics.
Yeah, well, that's, the Olympics is a big tournament with all sports. So for me, this is not the moment to talk about that. We're just really preparing for the game tomorrow. We want to get through. We want to get a very good result. And that's basically, at this moment, what we're really focusing on.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Go to Tom Hamilton from ESPN.
Thank you. Sarina, can I ask, I think this is the last England match of the year, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Been a long old year. Can I ask how you have sort of judged the journey the team's been on since the World Cup final, the past 5 games heading into this one?
I'm not going to do that now. We're really getting ready for tomorrow. The year's not finished yet. We have a game tomorrow to do. All the focus is on our performance tomorrow. I'm not going to reflect on anything what happened before now, because we have to look forward to tomorrow.
Gotcha. And can I ask, therefore, about tomorrow? We've seen in the past the role of the bench before, like we saw against the Netherlands. How key is that going to be tomorrow?
Well, we'll see. We have opportunities. Everyone is ready. We have one training session after this, and how the team came out on Friday, how everyone, of course, was happy that we finally got, at the end, we got the win, and that we're still in it, and we have an opportunity to go. And every player knows what's necessary tomorrow, and every player will be ready. So if it's necessary, of course, we start with 11. If it's necessary to change or to bring in another player, will do, and she will deliver, I'm sure.
Got time for a final question. If not, we'll wrap up. We'll just go to Graham. We'll finish with Graham. Thanks.
Just one for you, Keira. The game on Friday, I think Sarina said there before that everyone was saying it was a disaster at half-time, but the second half, obviously, we've seen what happened. How much confidence does that give the team, or has the confidence not really changed from that? Do you know what to do, and the second half doesn't give you any more confidence? You've always been confident in your ability going forward?
No, I think, as you said, I think we're always confident and we go out to win every game we play in. But I think it just kind of shows that our attacking players are in good form, and we can create those chances and we can score in big moments. You know, it's not easy when you're 2-0 down to try and score 3 goals. I think that's a big feat in 45 minutes. So, yeah, I think it gives us the confidence that we can go out and we can create opportunities in the game tomorrow. But, yeah, as I said, I think we always have the confidence in ourselves that we can go out and win every game.
Cheers.
Graham, thanks, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.